Hi students, last class we got started the chapter 5 differential calculus. There we are seeing the heading constant and variables. Okay ma? Constant. The word even from lower class itself. You are familiar with that word constant. Constant means the quantity which retains the same value throughout the mathematical investigation is called a constant. Constant are two types. In an absolute constant, arbitrary constant. Absolute constant abdina that do not change their values in any mathematical investigation, that is called as absolute constant. That is, they are fixed forever. Example சொல்ல கொடுத்தேன் root 3, 3, 5 இதெல்லாம் வந்து fixed constant. Arbitrary constant. Arbitrary constants are those which retain the same value throughout a problem, but we may assign different values to get different solution. The arbitrary constants are usually denoted by the letters A, B, C alphabets small letters A, B, C எல்லாம் எது கொடுப்பேன் constants தான் கொடுப்போம். ஓகேயா? அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிட்டியா? சரி. நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து என்னன்னா examples in the equation y is equal to mx plus 4, m is called the arbitrary constant. Okay ma'am? That is arbitrary constant means nalla understand பண்ணிட்டு retain the same value throughout the problem, but we may assign different values to get different solution. y equal to mx plus c na ஒரு straight line, m ங்கிறது slope. So the slope ங்கிறது not fixed. ஒவ்வொரு லைனுக்கு அந்த slope என்ன ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும், உனக்கு வேரி ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும். அதுக்கு பேர் தான் arbitrary constant. Okay ma? Next time என்ன பார்த்தோம் variable. Variable means a variable is a quantity which can assume different values in a particular problem. Variables are generally denoted by the letters x, y, z. Alphabets அதெல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு variable ஆயிடும். Example, any straight line x by a plus y by b equal to 1. X and y are variable. Here a and b are constants. Okay ma? In x and y are variables because they assume the coordinates of the moving point in a straight line and thus changes its value from point to point. A and b are intercept values on the axis which are arbitrary constant. And the a and b is x intercept, y intercept, that will be changes throughout the problem. Over the day, உனக்கு என்ன ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும், ஒவ்வொரு சொல்யூஷனுக்கு அந்த இன்டர்செப்ஷன் மாத்திட்டே இருக்கும். Okay, understand பண்ணிட்டியா? Here are having two kinds of variables, independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable means when it can have arbitrary value. Dependent variable means it depends on the value assumed by other some variable. For y is equal to 5x. Here x is independent and y is dependent on the value of x. Okay ma? So y is equal to 5x square minus 2x plus 3 or example கொடுத்தா உனக்கு. Here x is dependent variable, x is independent variable, y is dependent variable and 3 is a constant. இவள explanation உனக்கு கொடுத்தேன். இன்னைக்கு உள்ள கான்செப்ட் என்ன பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படினு சொன்னா டுடேஸ் கிளாஸ்ல இன்டர்வல்ஸ், அதாவது உங்களுக்கு வந்து பேசிக்கா டிஃபரன்ஷியல் கால்குலஸ் உள்ள பேசிக் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். அதனால நிறைய கான்செப்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு. சோ இப்போ நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண போறது இன்டர்வல்ஸ். ஓகேமா? First concept, intervals. Okay ma? Intervals, we are having two types of intervals, open interval and closed interval. So here first we are going to see open interval. Open interval, it is denoted by this line, open a comma b. That means the boundary points of a and b are not included. That is, here it will be explained as the values of x belongs to open a comma b. This implies the values of x lies between, and the word understand பண்ணிக்கோ, lies between. Okay ma? So here between அப்படிங்கிற word. Okay, understand பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? Between. X lies between A and B. Okay ma? So this is our open interval. அப்ப இங்க என்ன அர்த்தம்? A and B are excluded. Here A and B are not included. The values வந்து என்னவா இருக்கும்? A and B are not included. Understand பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? இதான் உனக்கு open interval. Next நம்ம பார்க்க போறது closed interval. Closed interval. Yeah, closed interval எதுக்கு equal அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, here closed A comma B. So here you are using that word. If X belongs to closed A comma B, that means this implies values of X. We can assume the values of X from A to B. From A to B. Here A and B are included. Here A and B are included. Okay ma? Understand பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? A and B are included. So close interval, open interval என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சிட்டா உனக்கு. So next வந்து என்ன பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இதுல நிறைய right open, left open எல்லாம் இருக்கும். இதுல வந்து உங்களுக்கு நிறைய கான்செப்ட் இருக்கும். என்ன பார்க்கறோம் அப்படின்னா, right open, left open அப்படிலாம் பார்க்கலாம். left open interval, right open interval. இப்ப left open interval அப்படின்னா left side வந்து open interval ஆகும். Open A comma closed B. அதே இது right open interval. Okay, right open interval எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, here closed, இது நம்ம closed னு போட்டுருக்கோம்ல. So here closed A and open B. இதான் வந்து right open. Okay, next என்ன பார்க்க போறோம்னா neighborhood of a point. Neighborhood of a point means, understand பண்ணிக்கோ, neighborhood. Neighborhood of a point. Neighborhood of a point. That means, என்னன்னா, let A be any real number, let epsilon greater than 0 be arbitrary small real number, then A minus epsilon comma A plus epsilon is called an epsilon neighborhood of the point A and is denoted by n of A comma E. Okay, so here you are having A belongs to R and epsilon greater than 0 be any arbitrarily small real number. Arbitrarily small real number. Okay ma? We assume that this is arbitrarily small real number. Then என்ன understand பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா, neighborhood, that means A minus epsilon comma A plus epsilon is called an epsilon neighborhood. Epsilon neighborhood. Okay ma? Is called an epsilon neighborhood. Is called an epsilon neighborhood. Understand பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? Of the point A, epsilon neighborhood of the point A. Okay, so here and is denoted by, and it is denoted by n of neighborhood of A comma epsilon. This is called as neighborhood. Okay, so n of 5 comma 1 by 4. For example, if we are given that n of 5 comma 1 by 4, that is equal to the open interval 5 minus 1 by 4 comma 5 plus 1 by 4. Okay, so here getting என்ன வந்து போறக்கு 20. So x belongs to 19 by 4 comma 21 by 4. So here you are writing like this. The interval can be writing like this. எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா, x belongs to x such that this will be 19 by 4 less than x less than 21 by 4. This is our neighborhood. Okay, understand பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? Neighborhood. Next நம்ம கான்செப்ட் வந்து என்ன? Functions. நீங்க வந்து functions வந்து எங்கே படிச்சிருப்பீங்க? ஒரு 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லயே படிச்சிருப்பீங்க. Okay, what is meant by function அப்படி சொல்லி நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிருப்போம்? 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லயே படிச்சிருப்போம். Okay, 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்லயே இந்த functionsங்கற கான்செப்ட் படிச்சிருப்போம். Okay, ma? Let x and y be two non-empty sets of real numbers. If there exists a rule f which associates to every element x belongs to x, the unique element y belongs to y, then such a rule f is called function from the set x to the set y. We can write f from. உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும் functionsனா என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு பாரு f from x to y. Okay ma, f from x to y is called a function. Then x is called the domain of f, y is called the codomain of f, and range of f is defined as f of x is equal to set of all this. So here, when you are saying that f from x to y is a function, if there exists a rule, is a function if there exists a rule f which associates, okay ma, which associates to every element x belongs to capital X, a unique element. Underline that word unique element. Okay ma, unique element மட்டும்தான் இல்ல நம்ம யூஸ் ஆகும். Unique element y belongs to y, then such a rule f is called a function. Then such a rule f is called a function. It is called a function. Okay ma, such a rule f is called a function or mapping from set x to the set y. So here understand பண்ணிக்கோ எல்லாரும் என்ன பண்ண போறோம் அப்படினு சொன்னா, here we are having that is x. You can call this x as domain and here y as codomain. Okay ma, and range of f, the range of f is defined as, understand பண்ணிக்கோங்க, range of f, this is equal to set of all f of x such that x belongs to x, f of all the set of all f of x such that f belongs to x. So clearly the range of this is a subset of y. Clearly f of x is a subset of y. The function of x is generally denoted by the symbol f of x and is read as function of x. Classification of functions. Functions can be classified into two groups. Okay, algebraic functions and transcendental functions. Algebraic functions and transcendental functions. Okay ma, we are having two types of functions. We are having classified into two groups. கொடுத்திருக்காங்க நம்மளுக்கு functions ல எத்தனை types இருக்கு. functions two types. Okay, ma? So here, first one is algebraic function. Algebraic function. இது நம்ம லோயர்ல இருந்தே படிச்சுட்டு வரோம். Algebraic functions அப்படின்னா or algebraic expression using a finite number of terms involving only the algebraic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and everything. இப்போ ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்கு இது எப்படி கொடுக்குறேன் அப்படின்னா y is equal to 3x power 4 minus x cube plus 5x square minus 7. It's one example. Next வந்து y is equal to root of 3x square plus 6x minus 1. So this is first is the polynomial or rational integral function and this is an irrational function. Okay, ma? Next is y is equal to, we can call this as rational function 2x square plus 7x minus 3 divided by x square x cube plus x square plus 1. Okay, so this is called, listen, இப்போ என்ன பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு ஒரு நேம் கொடுக்குறேன். என்ன நேம்? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து நார்மலா என்ன நேம் அது? Polynomial or rational integration. Rational integral function. This function is called polynomial. Okay, ma? So here it will be called as here it will be called as, this function is called as irrational function. Irrational function. And next will be called as, this will be called as rational function. Okay, ma? This will be called as rational function. Understand பண்றீங்களா? So types of function la first algebraic function பார்த்திருக்கோம். Next நம்ம பார்க்க போறது transcendental function. Okay, next concept என்னது? Transcendental function. Understand பண்ணிக்கொள்ளாரோ. This is called as second point. Second, you are going to see transcendental function. Transcendental function. Yeah. Transcendental function. This is our mathematical function which is not algebraic. A function which is not algebraic is called transcendental function. So example. So we're having example. Example of transcendental function is sin x, sin inverse x, e power x, log x to the base a are called transcendental functions. So here we're having some characters, some specific நம்ம சொல்லலாம். நம்ம first is என்ன எடுக்கிறேன் அப்படினு சொன்னா sin x tan 2x. Okay ma? This will be called as trigonometric function. Okay ma? This will be called as trigonometric function. This will be called as trigonometric function. And next will be the second concept you are having, sine inverse x and cos inverse x. Okay, ma? Sine inverse x, cos inverse x. This will be called as inverse trigonometric function. This will be called as inverse trigonometric function. Inverse trigonometric function. Inverse trigonometric function. Okay, yeah? Clear? Next one, third point வந்து உனக்கு என்ன ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க அப்படினா e power x 2 power x x power x. ஓகேமா? e power x 2 power x x power x. This will be called as exponential function. This will be called as exponential function. Exponential function. Okay, understand பண்ணிட்டியா? இந்த புள்ளியே transcendental function குள்ளே எத்தனை டைப்ஸ் இருக்கு பாத்தியா? Exponential function. ஓகேமா? clear ஆயிட்டா? இன்னும் ஒன்னு இருக்கு நமக்கு logarithmic functions. The next one is called as logarithmic function. The next one is called as logarithmic function. Log x to the base a, log x to the base a, comma, log sin x to the base e, log sin x to the base e. These are all called as logarithmic function. Logarithmic function. Okay ma? Understand பண்ணிட்டியா? Okay. இப்போ நம்ம types of functions பார்த்துட்டோம். இதுல important next ஒரு important conceptல பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படினு சொன்னா odd function. ஓகேயா? Next concept even and odd functions. இது நமக்கு அப்ளை பண்ணுவோம் even and odd functions. ஓகேயா? இதுல first பார்க்க போறது a function f of x is to be even. Understand பண்ணிக்கோ, a function f of x is to be even. A function is said to be even function if f of minus x is equal to f of x. If f of minus x is equal to f of x. Okay ma? Concept okay? Understand பண்ணிட்டே எல்லாரும்? If f of minus x is equal to f of x. Okay? So next வந்து இதே மாதிரி odd function. Odd function next பார்க்க போறோம். Next is odd function. A function is said to be odd. A function is said to be odd function if f of minus x is equal to minus f of x is equal to minus f of x. Okay, ma? Understand pandiya is equal to minus f of x. Okay, yeah? So this is our odd function definition. So f of x is equal to minus f of x. Okay, yeah? Clear alako? Understand pandiya alako? So two functions, odd and even functions were part. Next the beta concept of each explicit and implicit function. Next one explicit and implicit function. That's next concept. Okay, ma? நிறைய functions இருக்கு. நம்ம எல்லா functions பார்த்துட்டு அதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் நம்ம என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? இந்த கான்செப்ட்கே போக முடியும். So நம்ம நெக்ஸ்ட் பார்க்க போறது explicit and implicit function. பார்ப்போம்ல. Explicit and implicit function. So what is meant by explicit and implicit function? Explicit function means a function in which dependent variable is expressed explicitly in terms of some independent variables is known as explicit function. Okay, so here listen பண்ணு explicit அப்படினு சொன்னா ஒரு dependent variable and independent variable இருக்கும். அதான் explicit function. Okay, ma? So here we are having a function in which the dependent variable is expressed explicitly சொல்லுவாங்க throughout உனக்கு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க explicitly express பண்றது அப்படி சொல்றாங்க explicitly in terms of some other some independent variable is known as explicit function. இதான் உனக்கு என்னது is known as explicit function. Okay ma? Understand பண்ணிட்டியா? Okay. Is known as அப்போ what is that implicit function? ஐடியா கிடைக்குதா உனக்கு? What is that implicit function? A function which the dependent variable is expressed explicitly in terms of some independent variable is known as explicit function. So இதுக்கு உனக்கு சொல்லி example கொடுக்கிறேன். Example, we're having y is equal to x square plus 3 and another example y is equal to e power x plus e power minus x. So here the two variables x and y are connected by the relation of the function f of x comma y equal to 0 and none of the variables directly expressed in terms of other, then the function is called an implicit function. Okay, explicitனா வந்து dependent variable. Explicitனா உங்களுக்கு என்ன இருக்கும்? Directly expressed in terms of other. Then the function is called the implicit function. Okay, implicit function போன examples கொடுக்கிறேன். First வந்து what is implicit function பார்க்கலாம். If two variables x and y or x and y are connected by the relation or connected by the relation or function by the relation or the function f of x comma y or the function f of x comma y is equal to 0. F of x comma y is equal to 0 and none of the variable is directly expressed. None of the variable is directly expressed in terms of the other. Okay, directly expressed in terms of the other. Then the function is called explicit function. Then the function is called explicit function. Implicit. Okay ma, here implicit. Understand பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? Implicit function. Okay, எல்லாருக்கும் clear idea கிடைச்சிருச்சா? So here a function is dependent variable expressed explicitly in terms of some independent variable is known as explicit function. That implicit வந்து f of x comma y equal to 0 and none of the variable is directly expressed in terms of other, then the function is called implicit function. Okay ma? So here ஒரே ஒரு example கொடுக்குறேன் உனக்கு. அந்த example மட்டும் பார்த்துக்கோ. எப்படி இருக்கும் அந்த explicit function ஓட example பார்த்தாரோ. Example ஒரே ஒரு example. If you have a function f of x comma y equal to 0, so we can write like this: x cube plus y cube minus xy equal to 0 is the implicit function. Explicit means we are having one variable y is equal to something. It should be depend on some variable. Okay ma? So clear? எல்லாருக்கும் okay தானே? இந்த functions எல்லாம் இன்னும் நமக்கு நிறைய functions இருக்கு. Constant function, identity function, so many functions பார்க்க போறோம். நிறைய functions பார்த்தா concept. Okay ma? So இது எல்லா functions go through பண்ணிக்கோ. Okay? Thank you.